Okay, there you go. It's recording.
I was told by people that I should not bother with telling a story about how a hospital here in Sun City, Arizona treats people and kills people. They almost killed me. And I think that was due to a year prior to that, I turned one of their doctors in to the medical board when I went in to have an x-ray done on my wrist, and he kept me there, and he and his staff laughed and carried on like they could do anything they wanted to. And finally, when I was so tired of everything that they put me through, the doctor did a rectal exam. And it was real funny to him and all his staff what he did to me. And not to mention that I did bleed out my rectum for 3 days after that. And one of the nurses, male nurses, told me 2 weeks before that this doctor did that to a 2-year-old child. And so after that happened, I reported all the happening to the medical board. It was swept under the table. They're not going to believe me. And so no one wants me to do what I think I'm supposed to do, because I was tortured for 3 hours by the staff of Boswell Hospital here in Sun City, Arizona. The emergency room on the 23rd and the 24th of April. I went in there with chest pain, and I was tortured for 3 hours by the doctor and his staff. They were giving me medications that I was allergic to. They had a list of all the medicines that I was allergic to, and I do not know if that's what they were putting in me. But I do have a pair of pajamas that I was wearing the night that happened. And I was sweating profusely. And I know they have to be able to analyze my DNA off of the pajamas to what they had given me. And I think it was so wrong what they did to me. They acted like there was nothing at all, no problem, nothing. And they, mainly the one nurse, big smile, beautiful teeth, and all gums. She was the main one that gave me the shots. And yes, I do have her name. I have all of their names. I know what each and every one of them did to me. They tried to kill me. No one. I kept hollering. And I even had my cell phone hid in my pajamas. And I even dialed my home. And I told my son that they were trying to kill me, and he didn't believe me. He said nobody would want to hurt you. They want to help people. They're not going to hurt you and lose their license. They're not going to take a chance like that. Well, honey, to this day, my son has turned around 380-degree angle. He knows what I am telling you and everybody else, that this is a 10th murder on my life. Anytime anyone does something to a person for 3 hours, torturing, making their body jerk and burn, I just hope no one ever uses Boswell Hospital again. I know if you look back on your loved ones who've been in that hospital, ever in the emergency room, you will see the statistics of the people that die. Every day in that hospital, somebody dies at their hands. They are nothing but barbarian bastards in my book, and I want their license taken away from them. But see, there's no one here that will do that. They're all chickens. I trusted Mike Watkins. He told me he was coming out to my house with a camera crew and do this story so nobody else would be hurt or killed at Boswell. And finally, when I did reach him again, he said he didn't believe me. Well, how am I supposed to get things across if nobody believes me? I can take a lie detector test. I would do anything anybody wants me to prove. I can go and they can put them in a lineup, and I can show you every one of them. The doctor, the nurses, the technicians, everybody. And they said that I had dementia. Well, I'm here to tell you I don't have dementia. I have to prove with my neurologist there's nothing wrong with my mind. I'm crippled. Yes, I'm crippled. I have a lot of disability, but it's not my mind. My mind knows exactly what happened. And I want to warn anybody to please, if you take your parent, friend, loved one, anybody to a hospital like Boswell, any hospital per se, make sure someone stays with them, because they act like they're your friends. They act like they're being real gentle at first, and as soon as somebody you know walks out of that room, they start abusing you in every way they can. And I don't understand it. I just don't understand why the medical board swept the other under the table, and then just a year after that is when they tortured me. They knew exactly what kind of medications I took. They had my records there. I just don't want to see people be tortured. I'd rather been dead. Why didn't they just give me something and make me go ahead and die? They tortured me so bad. And I finally called my son again. And I said, if you ever want to see me alive, you'll come and pick me up. And I hung up the phone. And I heard them telling each other, her son's coming down the hall, we've got to stop, we've got to stop. And then the doctor tells my son that I was jerking and saying I was allergic to whatever medications, and they say they gave me Benadryl. They are liars. They gave me something through an IV at least 6 times, and it felt like my whole body was on fire. And I don't want anyone else to suffer. It is so bad when the elderly go to a hospital. You know, you hear about the nursing homes and all that. Nobody ever talks about the hospital. But you can talk to people around in this area, and you'll find out how they treat you here. Because I deal with this every day of my life. I wake up with nightmares. I'm supposed to have a breathing machine on, and when I had it on, I would wake up and I would think that they were smothering me, and I just can't even wear that. I'm terrified when it comes close to time to go to bed, because every time it's time for me to go to bed, I start thinking about what they did to me. And not a day goes by, not one day goes by that I don't relive it. I even called the FBI yesterday. I told them what happened. You know what they said? We'll call the sheriff's department. Yeah, the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department here, they are in cahoots some way with the hospital, because every officer that goes in there, they treat them like they're kings. And that may be why they wouldn't believe me. But I choose not to even talk to them. If the FBI wouldn't do anything, why would the police? You know. I know one man that probably has the balls to do that. That'd be Dr. Phil. And I'm thinking that if Dr. Phil would do this and break Boswell wide open, I'd be willing to tell my story to anybody, to the whole world, anybody that would listen. Because I don't want other people to go in there and have them do to them what they did to me. I can't do no more. I just can't handle no more.